I'm Uzi Baram, professor of anthropology, and I'm announcing a wonderful opportunity for fall 2020, an open lab at the new College Archaeology Lab. I know most of us think of archaeology in terms of excavations, that discovery, that sense of awe of finding things in the ground, sometimes that hasn't been touched for hundreds, if not thousands of years. But the most important part of archaeology isn't that aspect of it. It's identifying the remains. It's the lab work. And the project for this coming fall is laboratory work, part of what we started last January, but really 15 years ago, to recover history by the Manatee Mineral Spring in Bradenton, Florida, about 20 minutes north of the new college campus. It's a place that now is an empty field, soon to be part of Riverwalk, but contains tremendous amounts of history. There's a rich heritage beneath the ground, starting with the pre-Columbian Native Americans, a tremendously important history associated with the Angola community, a maroon community from the 1770s to 1821, freedom seekers who found their liberty by the Manatee River. And then, starting in the 1840s, the village of Manatee, the first Anglo-American settlement that grew. It was threatened in the 1850s, and Franklin Branch created a stockade that became known as Branch Fort during the Third Seminole War. And then this area became part of the growing urbanization, ultimately part of the city of Bradenton during the 20th century. All of that history is under the ground. I was involved and have been involved with this research for a decade and a half, working with local communities, the people around Bradenton, as well as descendant communities, the Black Seminoles of the Bahamas and others. And that partnership has really animated the archaeology into a heritage initiative. The work started with Looking for Angola, a community-based public anthropology program that brought out the meaning of the freedom seekers for contemporary communities. It reached an apex starting a couple of summers ago when descendants came from the Bahamas to celebrate their heritage on the very land that their ancestors had found liberty. Working with Reflections of Manatee, who's been the stewards for the history of the Manatee Mineral Spring, we're able to do excavations last January on a massive scale, revealing tremendous amounts of information from the ground. We have the opportunity to tell of the freedom seekers, of the pioneers, of the resistance to colonialism, of the achievements as well as failures of people over the decades. Tremendous amount found in the materials that we recovered. All those materials are now at the new College Public Archaeology Lab, stored safely, having been sorted and initially organized, but there's so much more to do. The laboratory research includes cleaning the artifacts, a simple process, but one that allows us to see more clearly the objects that have been buried in the ground. And as you can see from these images, it can be really enjoyable to just touch things that people had used and discarded decades or centuries ago. More intellectually engaging is identifying those belongings. I'm often asked to identify objects, and it's not as if I have an encyclopedic knowledge of all things. We have thousands of artifacts. We need to have people looking closely at ceramics and nails and ornaments and figure out what they are. The lab has a whole wonderful collection of books for identifying some of the common materials. Even more is available online in laptops that are at the lab, but also we have good Wi-Fi. And so I'll be asking you to help figure out what things are, helping with dating them, identifying them, and figuring out how they were used and how they were meaningful for the people by the Manatee Mineral Spring. And then it has to be organized. It'll be organized by the objects, by the layers, by their function, by their use, and put into a database so that other scholars can look at this material and help tell even more about the history from careful comparisons and diving in deeper to what these things are. This process, cleaning, identifying, organizing, is also about representing. And I'm hoping to find creative people who will think about how to take the objects and make them meaningful. We have replicas already of some of what the Maroons might have used. A replica drum that was found at Little Manatee River. A sense of the landscape of Angola that you see with its crops and structures in a virtual landscape. I'm looking for a whole host of different understandings of individual objects, collections of objects, and the history of particular time periods, but also the history as a whole going through the generations. And I look forward to hearing and seeing some of those ideas. The work at the lab is an opportunity for new college students. We've had, since I've opened the lab 10 years ago, generations of students coming in and contributing to projects and really helping us understand and preserve the heritage of this area. I've also worked closely with Time Sifters Archaeology Society, and we'll have both new college students, community members coming through Time Sifters, and others as well as a real community engagement so that there's many voices, as many people can look, see, and contribute to this heritage endeavor. If you're interested in this, please contact me. I'm Uzi Baram at my email, baram@ncf.edu. I'm looking forward to getting help from our campus partners at SOURCE, as well as our community partners, Time Sifters Archaeology Society, Reflections of Manatee, the Back to Angola Festival, and Looking for Angola. Thank you so much. Please contact me, and please be on the lookout for information as it starts flowing from this rich well of heritage. Thank you.